Good time zone, everybody. Welcome back. It's Tuesday night. We're here in full force again on Horde of Tales, and it's good to see everyone. It's a bit gloomy and dark and rainy here, but there's always sunshine in my heart when I'm with these people to play D&D. And
I suddenly have diabetes.
Yeah, kinda. This sugar rush was too much.
How is everyone doing? How are you all?
Coming down after the actual sugar rush from the lovely Valentine's meal I was treated to last night.
Aww.
It's very delicious. I'm full.
So jelly.
Still.
Nice.
Aww.
Finally
Very
got to dress up, wear heels. I was like,
I'm really jelly.
Well, we can do some of that in character if you want.
Let's see.
Just gonna dedicate an entire session to the party getting dressed and going out for fancy dinner.
In the dark, gloomy tunnel.
I'm okay with the only two characters with dark vision doing that.
Wait,
Leonins don't have dark
Yes.
vision, right?
we do.
Oh. Okay, we have a
We do?
chaperone. Boo.
Cats can see in the dark. So
They cannot.
Well, cats,
I
but
also-
They're
lions,
reflecting
I
D&D.
don't think.
I also remembered I had blind sight for 10 feet. So, like, I could have fought perfectly fine in the fog, and I just forgot about it.
Well, if that isn't relatable.
Oh, well.
You live and you learn.
I mean, we're still learning our characters, aren't we?
Exactly. You say you live
Precisely.
and you learn, but we'll see how long that continues to go on for.
Which is
I'm just waiting to the point until Marcus whips my ass.
Okay.
it's not exactly on my list, but okay.
We went places.
Yes, this went places. Let's go back to different places. And how about we slowly get this show on the road for tonight? Before we dive into the session, just our standard announcements. You are here by your own free will or coincidence on the Horde of Tales channel, where we do play tabletop RPGs. And tonight we play Dungeons and Dragons. We play a campaign set in the campaign setting of Eberron, and we're following the adventures of the Convergence Manifesto. Our characters is still in the second adventure, Live Another Day. If you like what you see here and you think like, cool, I want to run these adventures as well, or I want to play in Eberron as well, check out acrosseberron.com to find more information about these adventures. We use Astral VTT as our virtual tabletop, and the various character arts that you will see here on the channel are a cooperation of Serial and Caro, who work together on them. Caro also made sure that we have this nice overlay for the stream. And that's almost it. There's just one more thing to keep in mind. Austin and I are both proud owners of one or more cats, and sometimes these cats appear on screen. And when those cute little fellas appear and you have the channel points, you can use your channel points to grant cat vantage to any player, which includes the GM if you do so feel like it. So if you spot a cat on Austin's screen or on my screen, and you have the points, give one of these players cat vantage for their next roll.
And there is a new thing that is just added to the channel.
Oh God.
If you look onto your channel points, on what you can spend them, you will see.
I have one more reason to make sure that we get proper music back on the channel. Otherwise, I cannot warn everyone enough from what Caro is about to unleash on us.
It's already out. It's not like
with-
there's any other jazz anymore.
With that
You
being
can either
said,
send compliments or complaints to me for the suggestion.
I'd rather you
Exactly.
just have your
Make
cat
it
treats
channel
ready.
points.
Yeah,
Exactly. I'll
It's-
go get them.
it's all Austin's fault.
with that being said, how about we move over quickly to our intro and then return to the Convergence Manifesto. We're right with you. And here we are again after a quick little conversation, which might have involved certain remarks and any intense of beatboxing music. Who would ever do that? Let's forget about that. How about we quickly recap our last session? Because last time when we were here on the Convergence Manifesto, our adventurers started their skirmish with a few invaders from Droam. Fights were had in the thick clouds summoned by marine layers. Ogres were slain, goblins intimidated, but towards the end of the fight, there was also a one-on-one battle between Dythun and a enraged Rebus, who seemed to have been lost in the heat of battle. Fortunately, Rebus could be subdued, and our party went back to the village in the Shining Valley, where they reported on what happened and decided a further approach together with Mino, who eventually agreed that it might be a cunning plan to return the adventurers back through the tunnels under the pretense that they are prisoners of the Harpies. With that being said, the party was given more time and even additional time to prepare overnight and into the afternoon of the next day before leaving, which is good because that time was used to buy some new delicious fruits, get some tea, check out what happens to chunks of crystal that you hold too close to the sapphire, and also realizing that the sapphire is singing louder and louder. Rebus woke eventually from their unconsciousness and a very strange dream. And we did leave our last session at the moment when the party had the realization that the sapphire in the backpack that they carry with them was making louder and louder, beautiful, but still clearly audible sounds. You are still in your own dwellings. It is still in the morning after you had some tea made by Dythun. Adventurers, what would you like to do?
Oh, bother. As we all hear this beautiful angelic twinkling music, if I try to like annoyedly put up all my winter clothing, just bundle it around, put it in the backpack, put my winter coat and like snow pants on top of the backpack. It's still very audible.
It is muffled,
Ugh.
but you can still hear, especially like the higher tones in it. There's a still audible.
Be quiet! Why must you be so extra? Only I can be this extra. Stop it!
Why don't you put it somewhere where it's not making so much noise?
And I gesture to like the thing buried in everything I collectively have on my person. Is there are there any other containers,
How about water?
pitchers?
There is a pitcher in the room still, and there's still some water in there.
As far as I know, water muffles sound quite good. Have you ever heard someone screaming underwater?
Yes.
Yes.
Not you.
Delphine, that is a very wise idea, but we would need a closed container because there's another issue. And I open the box a crack, and if last night when I checked it was already blinding me, I'm concerned that there's a small sun in this box.
You just barely lift open the lid of the box, and there's already like this bright beam shining out of it.
Is there a big flask, a gourd, where water can be sealed in?
Dythun looks very nervously to the jug attached to his backpack full of cider. I don't know.
The jug would be big enough to hold the sapphire.
Dythun,
Look, this is
give me that.
it's fermenting.
It can surely ferment somewhere else.
That's why I have the jug. I haven't. I mean, what kind of flavor do you think a magical crystal would add to this? Probably not a good one.
Oh.
I
I
mean,
dare
if we
say-
don't have any other options, then
I dare say it would add a rather happy flavor. DM, is this jug glass and translucent, transparent, or is it opaque?
Are you talking about the one that Dythun has, or
Yes.
I mean, I imagined it was just like a big, like clay kind of jug with like a little stopper on the top of it or something.
So
that's
opaque.
what it is? Yeah, it's opaque.
We discussed this before, right? We already talked about this, and Dythun was like, "Well, there's fruit in the jug because I'm fermenting it."
Mm.
This has been spoken about, right? I'm not having deja vu.
After the
right
last
now.
I
session.
think it was like, yeah, I think it was like a
Post-session.
messages discussion.
Close
Yeah,
session,
Okay.
but Dythun will say, I'm really curious about the Baruki fruit and what kind of flavors it will make. But I mean,
As far as I've seen, there were a lot of these crystals outside in the water. And it didn't taste that bad.
can I see the sapphire? I'm curious.
Is this like quality control?
I'll do you one better. Hold out your finger. And I take the box with the lid open, and I just kind of move it so that his finger makes contact with the gem. Rain, recalling that the last time she touched it, she felt kind of like this wave of like giddiness or happiness with over, and she's kind of like performing an experiment here.
You slightly open the lid wide enough for Dythun's finger to fit through it, which means you have to like lift it a little bit further, and there's more light coming out of it. And all of you in the room, you can clearly see this light coming out of the box. Most of it now shines on Dythun as his finger gets on top of the sapphire inside. And Rain, you are indeed correct. The last time you touched it, you feel these happy feelings, but that was also when the gem was not discharged yet. And as Dythun's finger makes contact with the crystal, Dythun, you feel unbridled joy inside you. There's a smile that appears on your face. You feel the urge to laugh rising from your belly, and you haven't felt this happy, almost euphoric in a long time.
Can I taste it?
Dythun. Oh, Dythun. Yes, I'm so happy that you would agree and volunteer your flask for this task. Right?
It's
I'm-
drugs. It's
I do
drugs.
actually no. I do want to taste it. I'm curious.
Then let us add it to the maceration process.
Hmm.
Please open your jug.
It will
Potion of
be
gem.
special.
All right, fine. He'll take the jug with all the like bits of fruit and different leaves and the magical water kind of just sitting in there.
as I walk over with the box, I look at this gem as like, now you quiet down in there, you hear me? And I tip it into the jug.
So I'm assuming that you're trying to get the box as close as possible to the jug so
Mhm.
that the time that the sapphire is exposed is as short as possible. Is that
Yes.
okay?
Dythun's ready with like the stopper, like to.
I'm
put it
literally
back
just like
on as
wanting to
soon
like
as we can.
tip it in.
Gotcha. It's possible to bring the box close enough, and the
Yes.
jug is ready, Dythun is ready, Rain is ready, and you, with the lid opened, you now see the sapphire sliding out. And in this moment that it slides over to the jug, the room is just briefly filled with bright light. There's just this glaring light filling the room briefly. I need all of you to make a Constitution saving throw, please.
Shit.
This went about as well as I thought it would.
I like it. Oh wait, I rolled out
Question.
digitally because habits.
Yes, Rebus.
Where was my roll?
Am I in the is Rebus in the room right
Yes.
now? Because the
Yes.
plan was to leave them with what's the name? Raggy.
Yes, but
Raggy.
Rebus was here in the room and woke up with Dythun making tea and everything. So Rebus
I
Right,
don't think we
he's-
had gotten that far
yes.
yet.
We haven't.
This is still like
Okay,
right
okay.
after everyone woke up.
Yeah.
What is this? A Constitution saving throw?
Constitution saving throw.
Oh, thank you. That's a little bit better. 16 for Dythun. Ooh,
16 for Dythun.
that's a good roll.
Did my digital roll go through? I accidentally rolled digitally. If it didn't, then I have a regular
wait.
dice roll. I'm just curious which is
I
better.
saw Rebus rolled on
Yeah,
D&D Beyond.
Ruby's,
Okay.
but
Then my digital
Yeah,
roll
I
didn't go
rolled
through.
on D&D Beyond. I got a 22.
22 for
high.
Rebus. Rain, what did you get?
My total in this case would be 8.
8.
I don't know what I rolled
Delphine?
digitally. It's like maybe that was better. Oh well.
2.
A 2.
no.
I rolled a natural 1.
Ooh.
So, Rain, as you pour the sapphire out of the box, you take this flash, you look a little too long in the direction of the sapphire, and this flash of light fills your eyes, and you are for now considered blinded. Delphine, you also keep an eye on whatever kind of nonsense your companions are currently doing. And as the sapphire comes out, you also are faced a little bit too long in the direction of the sapphire, and you just feel the light burn in your eyes. You are also for now considered blinded. Rebus and Dythun. Rebus, maybe it's also because your non-organic eyes are a bit more resilient to these kind of things, but also you reflexively turn a bit away from the light and put up a hand to keep away from the most of it, but you notice how bright it is. And Dythun, the moment that the sapphire slips into your jug, you already kept your eyes squinted, and with a deft movement, you put the stopper on top of the jug and have it in there. And once it's in there, all of you would have to hold your breath to actually hear any significant sound coming from it. Not just is it just the liquid in the jug is a good isolation for sound, but also with the bits of fruit and other stuff in there, that's also adding to the audio isolation in there. And it is successfully transmitted over. Dythun.
I just want to say the sound effect you made, very satisfying. 10 out of 10. Literally made me smile. Thank you. Well done.
You're welcome. All right. So what you would notice then, for those of you who are not blinded, you might notice that your companions are maybe a bit disoriented. Or Rain and Delphine, how would you act now that you can't see at the moment?
I can't see anyone, and I can't project my thoughts, and this inability to do so is very frustrating to Rain right now.
for Delphine, she is still sitting on the bed and looking into the direction. It tries to goes with her fingers over her eyes to massage them so that she hopefully can see soon again anymore and like cursing slightly.
And as you do that, Delphine, as both you and Rain are still literally blinded by the light, all of you, however, hear a knock on the door.
It's just me and Rebus that aren't blinded, right?
Exactly.
Um,
I
uh,
friend Dythun,
just a moment.
it's somewhat.
What do we
I
do?
will try to stand up and kind of shake a bit, and my legs are not really working yet, so I just look at Dythun. Like,
Dythun's trying to
can
like
you
reattach
get
the jug to his backpack. Like,
I will try to move towards like Rain and Delphine. Are they okay? Or are they like, are they freaking out? Like, should I make sure they don't like bump into anything? Or
I'm just sitting, so I'm not bumping into anything.
okay,
Rain is
You're
standing
fine,
in place
okay.
and just like really visibly, audibly, physically pouting.
okay, so at least everyone's acting normal. Should I go get the door?
Please.
Okay. Just a moment. Rebus, could you see if you could finish attaching that? And
Yeah.
Dythun will walk over to the door.
Of course, yes. I will do a quick.
You're good with ropes.
tight knot on the. I am. It looks very beautiful.
Might even be like an extra additional, like little, nice little finishing touch to the to the
Dythun's
tie
like,
there.
Interesting.
Yeah, it looks like a net design, like a weaved kind of decoration on the front to keep the cap on.
It's one of those jugs that are like the gourd shaped, so it works. Yes, coming.
You open the door, Dythun?
Yes.
All right. You open the door and you see that Captain Piranha, the captain of the guard, is standing in front of the door, and she's accompanied by two other armored and armed harpies. And Piranha looks at you. Good morning.
Good morning.
Everything and everyone well inside here?
Yes, we're just having our morning tea and.
I can smell the tea indeed.
I have a pot of it if you'd like some.
No, not
I
on
will
duty.
reach to grab one of the. Okay.
No, all right. Well, to each their own.
I was just out on patrol here and came by these dwellings and wanted to check in if all the guests are still doing fine and quickly update you on our further planning. I have potential fellow village guards which will accompany me and you into the tunnels later today. And I just want to remind you that you should make sure that everything you need is ready to go as soon as I summon you to leave.
Right. We were actually just organizing our packs just a moment ago, getting ready for it.
How is Rebus doing?
Actually, I would quite appreciate it if I could go see doorkeeper Ragi. I think some of my mechanisms might not be working properly yet.
I see. Ragi will be happy to see you, I assume. You have, for now, free leave around the village, but I have instructed my guards to do keep an eye on you while you're out and about. But I assume there will be no trouble following you anymore.
Of course not, but
Hopefully it's the plan.
do as you must.
Very well. And she tries to look past Dythun, like into the room to.
Just like kind of leans against the door a little bit.
Very well
If you
then.
don't want any tea, then
No,
I mean-
thank you very much. It was
Right.
nice talking. Enjoy the remain of your stay. And she then wanders off, followed by the guards.
Thank you. While the door is open,
Mhm.
Dythun's gonna peek outside. Do we still have like 2 guards stationed?
At this point, no, not in front of your house.
Okay, good. He's gonna like kind of cursory glance. Like, is there anybody that might have or like is obviously like looking at the hut that might have seen like a flash of light
Make a
other
perception.
than Piranha?
Make a perception check.
Okay. I'm not terrible at those.
Says the
Okay,
dice.
that's actually really good.
Okay, good.
I'm terrible at math though. 18 plus 4.
22.
22.
There.
22.
I had to say it out loud.
That is a very good roll. You quickly look around, and there are no guards in front of the house or anything, but you do notice right across from the house, up in one of the high trees that you find here all throughout the valley, you see up in the peaks of the tree, hidden behind leaves and twigs, you see the outline of a harpy in the tree.
And they're very obviously like trying to like hide themselves, right?
It would be, you don't know much about harpies, but you don't think that it is any kind of pastime for them to just hide out in trees.
Dythun's gonna wave and then close the door.
All right. You wave and close the door.
And you hear behind you, Dythun, like, oh gosh. They sound as if they are fearing that we are just lighting up their whole village in fire.
I couldn't even
be
do that if I
fair,
wanted to right now.
We were just part of an attack.
Yes. Uh, do either of you? Does it seem to be going away? Can you see anything?
Both of you at this
Or-
point would like slowly, like you still can't see clear. It's like your eyes at this point are very hypersensitive. Like your pupils are so wide open that you're picking up too much light at this point. So the most you see right now around you is just these blurry shapes all around you. And if you like turn your head towards the direction from which you can hear Dythun, he's just one blurry blob in your field of vision right now.
Would Rain have enough eyesight to like move away from the party members?
She can certainly try.
I can't.
Well, I mean, you would
dislike
probably
being
remember where we
disconnected from
were.
my
We
magics.
didn't move much.
I really like being disconnected from my magics. I need them. I need them. The only thing I can do, and I try to back away because I want to thunderclap, but if you tell me that I can't be far enough from my party to not like blast them into oblivion,
So you basically want to like move
back.
away from move back from the party.
yes, I just need. Rain needs to like expend and feel in control and use magic, but there's really little she can do. This everything is sight based, and she needs to expend the magic to feel like she still has something. And the only thing she has is not sight based is thunderclap.
Whoa.
As you move away,
Tell us
you-
to get out of the way.
could you give me either an athletics or acrobatics with disadvantage?
Athletics. I'll take athletics. Disadvantage.
disadvantage.
Ooh, that is cocked. But the total would be 2.
You don't. The problem with your eyesight right now is that you also don't have a really good depth perception at this point because everything is so blurry. You can't really see how things are in relation to each other, and you move a bit away from the party. And you do succeed in getting away from them. It's like taking a few steps backwards. You still know what backwards is, even if your sight is not working. But as you move away, without seeing the world around you, you forgot what kind of furniture and other knickknacks are around this place. So you go a little bit too much backwards, bump into a chair that is next to one of the beds that you have here, which causes you to fumble backwards and land on your back as you now stare at the ceiling. And you still do the thunderclap?
I'll just point it above my head because I'm like, no one's 5 feet. No person is 5 feet in front of my hands on the ceiling. So.
And that it does to like make an audible sound, right? It does really makes. How far out is that sound audible?
100 feet away.
Everywhere.
All of you in the room here, you hear the sound. You're not affected by the spell because you're all out of range of it, but you hear the loud booming sound, and which comes shortly after the sound of rain falling on her back. And it certainly rolls out of the house and into the distance.
Great. Now half of us are blind and all of us are deaf. Wonderful.
What was that, Rain? Aren't you okay?
No, I can't see.
Well,
So you can't see it. You also don't want everyone else to hear, or what?
Misery loves company.
oh boy, is that not true? Open the door back up. Peek outside.
You open the door and peek outside again?
Yeah, Dythun hasn't moved, so sure.
You peek outside,
God.
and are you looking where you last saw the harpy in the tree? Or is there
I'm
anything?
looking at that, and then also, like, is anyone coming?
Gotcha.
Yeah, like, oh shit, sorry.
There's like just like a few meters away from you, there's other houses and these dwellings on stilts and everything. And as you pop out of the house, you see that leading out of the doors and the windows, you see a few harpies. There's one harpy on one of these house on stilts who's like has like a plate in one hand and a rack in the other, and it's like leaning out as she's still polishing the plate. And there certainly drew
What
some
the heck?
attention. And you also still see up in the tree, still hidden behind leaves and twigs, is that one harpy that is hiding in the tree.
Sorry. Somebody fell.
Fear is just rubbing her
Is this
face.
the door?
Yeah, it's like when you drop a plate and it breaks and like everyone is like, what the heck?
In
Yeah,
that
except you
case,
dropped 100
it's not.
plates.
Yeah, or someone exploded.
Rain and Delphine, once Dythun closes the door again, you do slowly notice that very slowly outlines in front of you become sharper again. You can see more colors. Your vision is slowly coming back at this point, and it is now good enough again that you can perceive the world around you.
Minor illusion. Ship water.
Dythun's gonna go help Rain up and be like, calm down, it's just give me your hands, come on. Secretly, Dythun is just like, if I hold your hands, maybe you can't cast magic anymore. Like, please
Oh,
stop.
Oh, honey. Oh, honey.
But he's a fighter. He doesn't know how this works.
All you wizards have to do these things, right?
Oh, now I want to play a character that for every spell just does this as the
This is
As
the
the somatic component.
Yes.
always
Or-
just
Shazams. right. So, what's the plan?
I will try to get up this time, hopefully, more or less being able to stand on my feet, and I will say, I will then make my way to Lord Keeper Draghi. I want to make sure I am okay before we need to be in each other's company in the mountains. I wouldn't want to put any of you in danger. And I will exit and make my way to the workshop, laboratory, studio place.
You need company?
Oh, I don't think I have any need for it, but if
Okay,
you would
then
like
it's
to
good.
meet Dragon, okay.
I mean,
Goodbye.
I'm
Then.
sure there'll be a hobby or two keeping an eye. If you'll find going on your own, I'll keep an eye on these two and make sure their senses come back to normal.
Good idea. Good luck.
Thank you.
Wait.
Wow.
DM, how much longer? Like Rebus knows how much longer we need because they started a clock like for 24 hours when we arrived at the valley. So, how much longer do we need?
About another 4 hours and 47 minutes.
Cool.
Also, yes, good luck is what else would I say. But I will try and make my repairs last at least almost 5 hours that we still need. That way we may not leave before we're ready. Is that okay? If the guard captain asks, I will make sure we need at least 5 hours, which, depending on my lesions, it might be close to the truth, but I still don't know. I need to assess what is happening. So
Makes sense.
I think this should be a fine excuse.
We will support your story if it comes to it.
Okay, I will walk out.
Gotcha. All right. With Rebus heading over to Ragi, is there anything else the rest of you would also like to do while you're still here in the valley?
Dythun got his fruit for fermentation, multiple different tea selections. I think Dythun's good right now.
All right.
Nothing in particular specific for Rain, except just I think just being comfortable. If there's an opportunity to just kind of walk and swim around, she'd do it very casually.
Mm-hmm.
If anyone else wants to chit chat, of course she's always down for that. But specifics, no. She'd make sure that her bag is ready to go, her winter clothes are on top of it, and that her greatsword and her other Triton souvenirs are also on her person as well.
Gotcha.
She basically will just walk around the day with her things, so she doesn't have to necessarily go back to the hut when it's time to go.
Gotcha. Delphine, anything you would still like to
Nothing
do?
for me.
Nope.
No.
All right.
Is Dythun's
Oh,
jug
good.
big enough to put in, or small enough to put in a bag, or is it something that's always hanging out?
I mean, he's always had it like tied and attached to the bag. But I don't know, like, you know, it's not like it doesn't have like a mechanical thing in D&D, so I don't know.
I'd say if you really want, this kind of guard is meant to kind of also dangle on the side of backpacks and is designed for that purpose. If you would want to put it into a backpack, you might have to remove other things from the backpack to really get the space to put it in there.
Dythun has
Like-
a pretty. He's got a lot of stuff in his backpack.
Like maybe rearrange a few things and put those on the outside, like have them dangle on the side of the backpack. I'm imagining the kind of backpacks that adventurers have like straps enough on the outside to attach things to. So before we get into too much of inventory management, the game, I think there is space for the jug in the backpack, but you would need some time to rearrange a few things. Like put a few things out of the backpack, attach them to the sides of the backpack, and then put the jug in there.
Because as lovely and inconspicuous as the jug solution is, and very well done, Delphine, would be remiss if we couldn't just do anything extra to take extra better care of it. I mean, all this for that, and to not be able to finish it in the end would be very unfortunate.
So first, don't thank me because it's not my jug. It's Dythun's shit. That's swimming in there. So.
What was your idea?
And second, I think as long as we're getting out here kinda okay and not breaking the thing, we don't need to worry about any other solution.
Dythun sets his backpack down. I don't know how to undo any of this. Rebus like tied it. Oh, like I.
And it's
I
safe.
don't know how any of this works.
If Rebus tied it, then it's safe.
Best not
I-
open
I
it.
mean- I could cut it, but I feel like that would be a waste of rope.
There's actually some very intricate, like where the ropes overlaps with itself, like the place to form like the webbing or something, where it overlaps. It overlaps so nicely. It looks impressive. It's
Does Dythun start removing things from his backpack? Are there interesting things we're seeing as he shuffles to make space?
I mean, he wouldn't because he doesn't know how to detach the jug. So he's like, he would have taken that off first, but it's like he doesn't. I mean, I can.
Well, I didn't think it would be attached to the backpack. I just kind of attached
you,
it to
like,
itself,
tied
so
everything
it has
together.
like handles and it's
Okay.
like
Okay.
yeah.
So no,
So it's not attached to the backpack. Yeah.
Yeah. He'd take out. Like he has like a little. Like his like tea set that's already out. He's got like different like small like cloth and leather like pouches full of different little things, vials and beakers and like a little whatever the equivalent of like almost like a hot, like not a hot plate is not the right word, but like the little stand and you can put like a heat source under it to like kind of it's basically what would serve as like the heating element of his like brewing pot basically. Like he kind of sits the jug on that when it needs heated. It's I don't know how to describe it. I mean that's kind of the only big things that are in there he can take out.
So
Or,
he
like,
carries
he's
a
got,
lot of crap
he's got
with
like
him.
a set of clothes. Yeah, no, like his backpack is basically for his hobby supplies. Anything that's like essential, like he's already got it on him. And like the bedroll's attached on top, and he's got like a torch he might carry with him in there.
How
And
are
like
you
the
with
rope's
cold
probably
weather,
tied on the side.
Dythun?
I mean, I've had to deal with it before.
Because when we arrived, the climate was rather inhospitable.
I would say he has advantage on this because he has fur. We don't have. Walking over, picking up one of these thingies that Dythun just put out of his bag and looking onto it.
I mean, it's not the most comfortable thing for me, but you know, we go where we need to go.
You can take my gear if you'd like. I'm quite resilient to it.
Well, if it comes to that, we'll see.
Perfect. And I set my winter clothes in front of him.
Where,
You're welcome.
I mean, where do you want me to? Okay. I'll just put the jug in there, and I guess add more shit back to the bag.
While Dythun is playing Tetris with the backpack, Rebus, you have made your way to Ragi's home again, climbing up the ladder. And as you climb up the ladder, you peer into this chaotic mix of an artist's and researcher's home. And you see at that point, Ragi is again seated on this stool, and he's currently seated in front of a painting easel with a canvas on the easel, and he has this array of different pots with various colors all around him, not in any organized manner. It's just these little pots of various colors and dyes scattered around them, and they put the pencil, not the pencil, but the
Paintbrush?
Thank you, the paintbrush into the colors, and they're just painting some kind of very impressionistic artwork. As far as you can tell, it's a very colorful painting so far with shapes on it, but you can't really tell what they're supposed to represent. And Ragi seems to be so focused on their work at this point that they haven't noticed you yet.
I squint to see if I can make out. Not that Rebus, not that if my eyes squint, I'm actually squinting, but my camera or my image perceiving sensors unfocus, but then my lights on my faceplate squint just to signify.
Right. And even with if you squint, some of the shapes, they blend a bit more together, and you get the idea that they might be buildings, houses in front of a very colorful sky, but you're not sure.
I will knock on the frame of the door to not startle Ragi.
As you knock, Ragi was just about to make another brush stroke, but just before the paintbrush hits the canvas, you knock and they stop their movement. They turn around and you can see that they have a bit of paint on their face and everything, like these spatters of paint, and they look at you. Ha! Rebus! Wait, I didn't expect you up so soon. One moment. And they put down the paintbrush, climb down from the stool. They take a towel to wipe the paint off of the face, clean their hands real quick. I've heard you were involved. What happened last night? The scouts, the fighting.
Well, that's why I'm. Yeah, that's why I'm here. Honestly, you should, Lawkeeper, you should probably ask my companions if you want a more accurate retelling of the story. I might have been damaged during the battle. I hear we were victorious, and thankfully without many losses, although not completely without losses.
Not completely
Yeah.
without. I've been up a bit longer last night to also help in taking care of the wounded. And we can count our blessings to be in this magnificent valley, because that makes all the healing efforts that much easier here. And they inspect you real quick, looking at any kind of surface damage that you might have, and they then look at you. Huh, not many visible damages. But,
No, I believe your wonderful valley also has aided my both organic and inorganic material to repair quicker, which is quite fascinating.
That is indeed fascinating. My apologies. I don't want to make it look like you are some kind of study subject or something, but we've never had a Warforged here to see how the manifest zone, well, manifests in a non-organic being. And it applies its effects
Don't apologize,
magnificently.
please. It is my pleasure. I understand the curiosity. I have quite a few questions myself about the matter, so maybe we can figure it out together. But that's not why I'm here.
It is good timing that you came, Rebus, because I heard I'm not one to listen too much to gossip, but soldiers and fighters talk, and when I tend to their wounds, I hear them, well, talking about things, and I've heard that your companion, Dythun, had actually carried you back here after the skirmish?
That is correct. I lost consciousness in the last part of the battle. And according to what I have been able to piece together, I might have attacked my own companions. So you can see this is quite a worrying matter, and I would like it fixed. And maybe you could help me figure out why that was.
Is that something that happens more often, that you attack your companions?
Never to this extreme, but I have gotten myself, by what I can tell, it's like my combat mode is reluctant to disengage once the combat is over.
Your
And so-
combat mode?
If there's no more targets. Yeah, well, that's what I call it. I don't exactly know what it is, but it helps me in a battle to be quicker and faster and stronger and more accurate.
And as you talk and explain, Rebus, Ragi is listening to you, but as you're explaining, they pull over that stool that they had in front of the easel, pull it over, and they just perch on top of the stool. And from a tool belt around their hip, they pull out this magnifying glass and everything. And they just, while you talk, they start to like inspect you, still listening to you, but already like looking at your plating, trying to see if there's like any kind of damages that might explain it. But they're kind of like doing their basic investigation right now, but you still have the idea that they're fully listening to you, to what you're saying.
Oh, I will aid them if they want to look at something in particular. I would like move so that it's easier to see, or like open parts of it,
Raise your arm where necessary, turn a little bit, stuff like that.
Yeah, all of that. Well, yes, I haven't been able to find a mechanical component to this failure. Oddly enough, there are a few quirks, as you can see. I have been repaired many times, and therefore I can imagine some of my mechanisms are not working 100% like they should. I creak and screech a little bit, but it's not affected my programming. I don't think the problem is mechanical, but I could be wrong. So I wanted to ask for your help and, ensure that nothing else needs to be repaired. Maybe something got connected to the wrong spot. Maybe there's something interfering with the different mechanisms. So I would very much appreciate your help. I don't know if you're busy right now. I can come back later. I know that the captain of the guard doesn't want us here, or Mino for that matter, for longer than necessary. But I think, well, first, I don't want to put my companions in danger if we're going to travel alone. And also, I think you might find it interesting. So I'm not one to be a friend of deception, but it could be a good excuse to have me in your lab for a few hours.
As you mentioned that, he just snickers and laughs at your remark. That certainly would be something I would love to tell Piranha. Oh, no, they can't leave yet. I'm still studying the Warforged. Would love to see the look on her face. But I don't want to complain too much about Piranha. She's doing an excellent job, and her duty lies heavy on her shoulders. She might not be the friendliest one, but she is doing her work. And if she might be a little unkind towards you, I apologize in her stead. She does not mean
Oh,
bad.
absolutely. It is understandable. I know what I am, and I can understand her position. So,
well, regarding that you know what you are, you've been telling me already a few interesting things here, Rebus. And I am no technician, no, what do they call them? I think they call them artificers. That's the term I have heard for it. No expert on that matter. But I'm also not an idiot. And it is not as if the existence of Warforged or any kind of classified secrets that the people in the big cities keep to themselves. You keep referencing to your programming, your mode, your battle mode, the way that you were built, and you're seeking for
I guess you could call it personality. It's just an induced personality more than a...
See, I think that gets us closer to the source, because, and at this point, they stop perching on the stool. They just stand upright on the stool so that they can reach your head, and they just lean close to your head. I think part of the issue, and they tap the faceplate of you, might be up there.
I believe you're right. I was hoping it wouldn't be, because that seems significantly harder to fix.
It absolutely is, yes.
Yeah. How can I ensure that I won't put my companions in danger?
You mentioned that when you enable this battle mode, that it happens that it seems to be reluctant to stop when you want it to stop.
Yes.
How often did you have any formal practice in your battle mode? Like, did you get a chance to train it, exercise it in a safe environment? Because, I know that Captain Piranha, before she takes any of the soldiers with her on patrol, they have to practice sword strikes 100 times on wooden swords before they get to even hold a real sword. So I imagine if someone gave you this battle mode, they must have at least given you the chance to train with it.
That seems quite logical. Although, The problem is I know I have been active for probably a number of years, but I only have memories for the past 3.5 months. So in this new start, I must admit I haven't been able to practice with my battle mode, and that might be a reason why I can't control it. You're absolutely right. It seems so natural. I will try my best to find a place where I can safely train.
That still leaves us.
I guess I have been so accustomed. Yeah, I've been so accustomed to just accepting that I've had a life before this, that I kind of expected my body to remember, even though my mind doesn't. But that doesn't make any sense. Why would my body remember if I can't?
Well, I've heard of ailments where one forgets things, but their muscles remember. Where one has forgotten that they were good at painting, but as soon as you put a paintbrush in their hands, they start painting you the most beautiful pictures. I'm not sure if the same goes for a Warforged. But that still leaves us with the danger that if you are to travel with your companions back through the tunnels and something might happen, that you are scared that your battle mode will be an additional danger.
That is correct. Yes.
And you see Ragi now just really looking at you deep in thought, eyebrows frowned, and they're just staring at you. And then they lean closer to your faceplate, and they lower their voice. How good are you at keeping a secret?
I've never had to keep one, but sorry, I do not have enough data to tell you how good I am.
You have, do you have any hidden compartments or something on your body?
DM, does Rebus have any extra compartments in their body?
Like, you do know that you have parts of your plates
Probably.
that you could fold open, and there's like some extra space in there. I think like a few sessions ago we were thinking about the idea of putting the sapphire actually into Rebus. But there is like at least
and also like I know if they eat, like the food does go somewhere, even if it doesn't get like digested. Like they have
exactly, and at least if anything, there's at least some kind of like room in between like different parts of the body. So there would be a way to at least even make, if necessary, make like an improvised hidden compartment.
Let me check, and I will start opening a way to every compartment I like can think of, knowing my own body, that like might be, a safe space where like there's no gears, there's no like magic stuff, like it's just
So there would be like multiple places on the body, like folding open, and
yes, you would see my plates kind of receding, similar to when my rage is activated, but not in the same way where they open and like the armor comes out, but a similar movement of like plates receding, mostly to probably grant access to like internal mechanisms to change them and maintain them.
Gotcha.
So there's a big one in the chest where there's like different little chambers. One of them is supposed to be like a stomach, and then there's like a couple others that are currently empty. There's some space on forearm and some space on the bottom of the right foot that like opens and has a little cavity for unknown reasons.
Gotcha. And as these spaces open and unfold, Ragi looks in fascination and there's like honest joy in their eyes as they just see like these things unfolding and opening. And at one point, when like, especially when that little compartment at the leg opens, you can see them like, like that. They find that just really cool to see, and they're like, okay, I don't think this is going to work 100%. But, and they then jump off the stool, go over to one of their shelves, and they take out this little glass vial, and you already see in the vial, which is like maybe like as long as an index finger, there's this familiar looking shard of crystal that you've seen all throughout the valley here. And it's in there, it's kind of a little bit hovering in the vial. Are you familiar with the properties of these kind of crystals?
Oh, not academically, only what I've been able to observe since my arrival here. They have healing properties and musical properties.
Oh,
Am I correct?
they have very good musical properties, but they also are very good at making one feel happy and friendly and warm. Now, I'm pretty sure that the other harpies would not want you to take any of these out of the valley. But I think if you keep this on you and you find yourself in your battle mode that just does not allow you to leave, to drop that frenzy, get the crystal out of this vial and just hold it. Just make sure that no one finds it on you when you leave. And if they do, if they do, promise me that you tell them that I gave this to you and put the blame on me. I can deal with Piranha and all the others. This is my idea. I can deal with them.
Oh, but Lord Keeper, I wouldn't want to cause any trouble.
Trouble?
Sure?
I have discussions and arguments with Piranha 4 times a day. That's not trouble. It's my life.
Okay. I will keep it in mind. Thank you.
Put it in one of these little
Maybe
fantastic
you
spaces.
think- Yes. I'll put it like on the one on the foot because it's the like least likely, and this is small enough that it actually fits. So it's like I'll put it in there. It closes like a little door. Do you think? I think it would be wise to give this to one of my companions when we start traveling together, because I have noticed I am not in charge of my own actions. That is the whole problem. If my battle mode gets a bit out of hand, so it would make sense if one of them would be able to get the crystal for me.
Once you're far away enough that none of the harpies can check you for this, feel free to give it whoever you trust with it.
Okay, wonderful. I really, really appreciate this, Lord Keeper. I am so grateful for your help. I know there's a lot of things I still need to figure out. I thought I could maybe just, live this life as the life that has been given to me and enjoy it. But there seems to be something from my past that I need to resolve, which is quite rude if you think about it. Of myself to have to fix something from myself or from my other self. I very much like to just enjoy the life that I have right now.
And come to think of
but
it,
I feel like
it's even extra rude of your past self that you can't even clearly remember what it is that you need to solve.
right. I'm glad to agree. I thought I was just being insensitive. But no,
At least when
it's rude.
when I'm angry with my past self, I know what I'm angry about with my past self, but you don't seem to have that luxury.
No, it is quite frustrating. But even though it's not my fault, it is my responsibility to myself and to the people I care about. So hopefully I'll find some answers. Would you care to run some more tests so we can discard any other malfunctions?
Now, I
I
need you.
believe my memory problem might have something to do with, and I point to like a damaged memory unit, like.
And DM, feel free to like make this as long as or short as you want. Like we can just say, we'll run some tests,
you
then see
do-
the conclusions.
You do as you show Ragi like where the memory unit used to be, or Ragi already gathers some tools around the room, and they just, before they start to give you a rundown, they just give you a quick warning. I have to warn you, of course, I will be very careful, but please tell me if there's anything I do that causes any kind of harm or anything. I'm just gonna be very careful in this, and just gonna take care of the superficial stuff that I can find. I'm not gonna do any kind of maintenance or something.
That is okay, I can do that myself. The basics are taken care of.
All right. And Ragi then just, as he's just starts to inspect you for any kind of other damages, which will take, of course, a while, first of all, because Ragi is very thorough, and because also Ragi takes a lot of breaks in between to just have conversation with you. Just like sometimes it feels like there pops something into Ragi's mind, sometimes very random topics that they want to talk about with you. And once they get in on a topic, they actually just start talking about it, and they make themselves a cup of tea in between while they keep telling you about the topic before they continue working again. It's they really don't like to rush things, and just
Oh
take
no,
their
I'm
time.
Ragi.
I'm just thinking I'm just thinking how much this reminds me of Moira and the conversations we used to have, and how she essentially educated me in the first 2 months that I was awake in her workshop, and how I miss her. Ragi, where did you get these vibrant pigments? Did you take them all from the valley, or did they come outside, pointing to their painting?
Oh, well, I could tell you stories, and they do tell you stories, and that's something that also takes quite a while, and the hours go by as they as all of you, as Rebus is being run for maintenance and checked by Ragi, the rest of you make your preparations in the village, take a final stroll or swim, whatever you want. But eventually, as afternoon comes and grows, word is put out by Captain Piranha that it is time to gather the guests and prepare for this cunning ruse. And wherever all of you are found either by Captain Piranha herself or the guards to be brought to, if necessary, first to the dwelling that was given to you to pick up any kind of backpacks or other stuff you might have still left there, so you don't leave anything behind, and eventually are then escorted to the exit of the village, where also again at the village gate that you also left when you went out to help in the fight against the invaders, you see that perched on top of the gate is also Mino, who, as you approach, looks down on all of you. I have discussed with Captain Piranha that you will indeed pretend to be our prisoners. I expect that you will put on a convincing show. Mind you, should it come to any kind of hostilities, the captain and her soldiers will do whatever is necessary to survive and return safely to the valley.
As expected.
Do you remember our arrangements that we made?
What arrangements? I can't seem to remember much from our previous conversations.
Where are we even? What is this place?
What's
There's
a harpy?
You see that Mino has like very briefly this smile on her face
Excellent.
from these remarks. Very well then. It was an interesting encounter with the lot of you. I hope to never see you again in this valley. Captain?
Well, you've shown us such hospitality. No, that's not the right word. Hospitality.
Hospitality.
That's it.
I heard hostility, and I was like,
I was like, wait, no, that's the other one.
words are hard sometimes.
Hostility. Hospitality.
We
Same
appreciate
difference.
it, though we understand it's not something likely to be repeated.
And as you say that, the captain urges you all to wander with you. The captain is, of course, not the only harpy that is accompanying you. There are a total of 4 more harpies that come with you, and among them is a harpy that looks familiar to especially Rain and Delphine. It is the harpy that kept an eye on the two of you when you were out on town, and that you lost, that Rain, you lost, that you lost the connection with during the fight. But they have a few. The harpy has a few bandages over him, but he seems to be doing well. And
Phew.
yeah, hi.
Am I to only address you as you?
I prefer not.
Okay, not.
Oh no,
Okay.
my name. Oh right, Mahat. Mahat is my name.
Mahat.
Yes.
All right. And
Uh,
telepathically, Mahat will hear in his mind, pleased to meet you again. We had such nice memories, didn't we? Things I'll never forget.
Neither will I. Wait, that came out wrong. No. Yeah. And he then like switches over to speaking, and just talks to you. I'm sorry I dropped that conversation last time. I got shot.
Most unpleasant.
Yeah, I'm better now.
Good.
But now we're also going into the cave. And
Yes.
the captain commended me for my bravery in the fight against the invaders, and now the captain also selected me to go into the cave. But I think I shouldn't be acting too friendly with you because we're pretending that you are prisoners.
Only once we step past that threshold.
That is true. That is true. And as this conversation is going, you see Captain Piranha looks over her shoulder. Mahat, what are you doing? Keeping an eye on the prisoners, ma'am. All right. And Piranha looks straight ahead again. A lot of you are venturing back on the path that you also came in when you were ushered into the valley. Who of you is currently carrying the backpack with the jug with the sapphire in it? Dythun.
Where's the camera aiming?
I have
Dythun,
no
you-
idea where any of these cameras like.
Well,
I don't know how to point to anyone.
in Twitch.
Dythun, you have the backpack on, and as you walk, you just at one point you notice that you're almost just have a certain spring in your step, as if you just feel like make a happy leap while walking.
I don't know what this says about me, I don't know what this says about Dythun, but I think subconsciously Dythun recognizes that as something's off.
Yeah.
Maybe Dythun's
He's really
tail won't
happy.
start like really
I shouldn't be this happy.
Yeah, also that's actually a good point. Your tail also is like there's like a bit of these happy swipes in your tail.
So,
And eventually all of you come again to that exit, or for now, entrance to the tunnels. And Piranha turns to you in the group, to all of you. I'm very sorry, but if we want to make this convincing as prisoners, we need to at least, for now, take away your weapons, tie your hands together. You have a word. Once we're past any danger, we will give you back your weapons.
Loose enough ties. I assume if things get really bad, we could free ourselves and help you, yes?
That is like a grand idea. That was also the sort of arrangement we came to with me, no? That's even though appearance-wise, we are adversaries. In reality, we sort of have your back.
Rain and Dythun, give me both a persuasion check, please.
Persuasion.
Rebus, was there anything you wanted to do?
Dice
I
betrayed me
just
last
wanted
time.
to say that I was going to suggest we use some kind of knot that can be undone quickly in case you are in need of our help and if something goes wrong in the caves.
Very good. Rain, what did you roll on the persuasion?
13 to low
13. Dythun?
I got a 3.
3. And Rebus also suggested certain knots to be used, certain ways of tying the rope. Rain, it is, while Dythun just blurting out like, oh, lose ties so we can break free. At first Piranha looks at him like, what are you trying? But then Rain actually comes with that extra explanation and reminding of possible arrangements, which is then followed up by Rebus suggesting potential good knots to do that with. And
Mahat, you agree, right?
That depends on what the captain suggests us to do. And the captain then just, okay. As long as you handed your weapons over to us, we'll make sure that the knots are done in such a way that you can slip loose easily.
I just want to say that Rebus, I rolled a persuasion just to see, and it's a 0. Because I rolled a natural 1, and I have a -1 of persuasion.
Wow.
You're welcome.
Well done.
Well, if Piranha insists on having their weapons, Rain is going to strong-armedly remove the golden greatsword that she carries that is perpetually covered in this white sheet. So it's a big heavy thing. I don't know how Piranha
And one of the
is.
harpies takes it. It's really like, looks at one of the other harpies like, and they carry it for you.
I have a question.
Yes, Dythun?
When we were with any of the like scouting party in the caves,
Mm-hmm.
Rain very like obviously cast magic at some point in there with them, right?
Yeah.
Okay, Dythun's gonna speak up. Well, they are familiar with us, and you know, Rain here is a bit more of the casting type, so it might make it a little bit more convincing if they had like something covering her mouth so she couldn't verbally cast. I'm only trying to help, of course.
And I gesture to my falsely tied hands.
What? You can cast magic just by speaking things.
And Mahat just blurs out like, well, she can speak without her mouth.
Piranha doesn't know this.
And Piranha, who didn't know that indeed, looks at Mahat. Is that so? And Mahat goes, oh, I mean, well, there's, yes. Prada, we're losing time here. Just make sure that we get your weapons, we tie everyone's hands up, and then we get moving.
Right. Yeah. Seems good. Dythun just gives a big smile to Rain.
She gives a big smile in return, but not the friendly, warm kind.
Oh, for sure.
In the meantime, Delphine hands over first her rapier, then her pistol. Then she pulls out one of her sleeves like a dagger from behind her back, another dagger. She will keep one hidden.
All right. Well,
there's a lot of weapons there, so.
It's the good old trick of just overwhelming them with so many weapons that at one point they're just thinking, okay, you can't have any more on you.
Oh, I give him a crossbow. And 2 daggers.
I feel like some of these harpies regret this decision at some point, and they're now carrying, already have a lot of stuff on you. Dythun, are you also entrusting your weapons?
2 hand axes. Do you want the shield? I mean, that's not a weapon.
Just keep the shield, the captain says.
It's kind of heavy.
Just keep it.
Right.
And Rebus, do you also pass over your glaive, or is there?
Yeah, I pass over my glaive, and I will keep my lantern on my tied hands so we can have some light for those of us who can't see in the dark.
That's fine. All right. So eventually, all of your visible weapons, non-magical weapons, because some of you might not have weapons on them, but are still very much armed in a way, are handed over to the harpies. All of you are tied by good but not too tight knots, and are ensured that with just the right amount of wiggling and pulling, you can pull them loose. And Rebus could confirm this to anyone with their knowledge of ties and knots, that these are put up in a way that if you just wiggle a bit and pull, they come off. But it's not visible from the outside that these are loose knots. They look convincing, but you can slip out of them.
Great choice.
And
I couldn't have chosen better knots for this occasion.
Seal of approval from Rebus. And you are eventually Piranha in front with a few of the other harpies as they enter the tunnels. You as pretend prisoners on your return journey out of the Shining Valley. And before we go to that scene, how about we take a little break to refill our drinks, stretch your legs a little bit, and then we find out after the break how this continues. We'll be taking a 10-minute break here, and we'll see you back in 10 minutes. See ya! And we are back. There we go again. We had a nice, lovely break with getting our drinks, having a little bit of chit chat, and are ready for the second half of today's session. But before we go in there, if you're still around and watch along with us, thank you very much for dropping by on our channel here. We play tabletop RPGs and D&D because we love to do it, but we also stream, and we're happy whenever people drop by to watch with us, hang out with us in chat. So thank you very much for that. If you like what you're seeing and you want to follow us, you can find the links to our various social media right below there. You can follow us on Twitter, join us on our Discord, and you also find the VODs of these sessions, of course, directly after the session on Twitch, but you also find them later in the week on YouTube, where Ida takes care to make sure they are uploaded and are even given nice, snarky, and funny timestamps. So you can click through them and find the pieces that you found interesting.
And thanks to everyone who likes and retweets the shorts I also add on Twitter. I have a lot of fun making those. If you have suggestions as to what moments you want to be highlighted, let me know, and they will be both available on the Horde of Tales Twitter and on the Horde of Tales YouTube.
Perfect, indeed. And if you find your way to our YouTube, also, we would be very happy if you would give us a subscription on YouTube. We're still a few subscribers away from that magical 100, and we're really glad for everyone who decided to already subscribe to our YouTube channel. With that being said, our adventurers, accompanied by the Harpies, Captain Piranha, you go back into the tunnels from whence you came and soon leave behind the light and the magical vibes of the Shining Valley as you're now back in the dark, damp tunnels with more people than before. Well, you were, with more people than you were when you came here. My apologies for the confusion. You follow Captain Piranha and the Harpies, pretending to be their prisoners. For now, it's mostly walking through this dark and dreadful place. Is there anything you would like to do while you're just walking, probably single file at this point, through these tunnels?
Have we taken a straight path, or have there been turns so far?
Well, there are turns in the sense that this is a very winding and coursing tunnels. But from what you could recall so far, you're taking a similar path than the one you took when you came here.
Okay. Because Rain would be keeping an eye, because the gem aside, the other way, the sapphire aside, the other way that Rain contributed to finding the way to the valley was noting the abundance of the magical crystals on the walls. So as they're thinning out would be the right direction. And if we would not be going such direction, she would pipe up, at least telepathically, to someone to say, not that way.
Clever approach. And you would eventually notice that as you move further into the tunnels, you're going into the direction that these clusters of crystals become thinner and more spread, are further apart. So you're clearly getting the impression that you're going in the right direction. And also, all of you, with how certain all the Harpies are in how they navigate and walk through these tunnels, all of you would get the impression that this is not their first time being in these tunnels. They are aware of them and they know what kind of direction they're heading to.
Makes sense. I heard that.
Very vocal today.
Yes.
Damn.
You were saying, Dythun.
Yeah, I was say Dythun probably volunteer to be like up front in case there was some kind of like trap or something. Being kind of like one of the more armored people in the party, like he'd volunteer taking the front of it in case something happened.
Gotcha. And
Loud again.
Of course, the since you're still tied up, your hands are still tied together, and your weapons are confiscated. It's not like if you go to the front, it's not like you look like you're actually part of the vanguard here, but you are allowed to be up in front, still pretending to be a prisoner, but you're close to the front, and if anything should happen, you're close to the action.
Sounds good.
And keep in mind, Rain. Thank you, Gwenora, for the advantage to Rain. As you then further continue, you easily walk for 2 or 3 hours here in these tunnels. And at that point, I would like all of you to give me a perception check, please.
Yes.
As we keep walking further, and thank you for the cat advantage, Gwenor, very kind of you. Rain will just like make like really over theatrical, like sad frowny faces. Perception 11 for Rain.
11 for Rain with the advantage?
Yes.
What did the rest get?
That's
17.
That's an 8 for me.
8, 12, 17.
So
You-
perceptive.
I'll have to make a quick roll for the harpies. Not bad. As you walk through these tunnels, and Rain is putting on her pretend pouty faces and being sad about this entire situation, Delphine, as the party goes around a corner here, you can see in the crack in a wall, you see hidden in whatever space is beyond that crack, you just briefly see just a pair of flashing eyes in the darkness in the crack. And you do also notice that one of the harpies that accompanies you, actually Mahat, the harpy that Rain was talking to, also just suddenly stops and looks in the same direction where they see something moving in this crack in the wall.
Boy, here we go again.
Is Rain walking in front of me? Probably, I think.
Probably, yeah.
So I will give her like a small bump, like as an indicator. I don't know if she will get it like for a mental link or something.
I turn my head and look at Delphine.
I mean, we can still move our hands at least upwards.
Sure.
So I make it like this sign.
And I raise my eyebrows as well to like, yes, hello, mentally.
Someone is stalking us.
Oh dear. I turn my head forward. Does anyone have our hosts notice us?
And as you ask,
notice the others?
as you ask that, you see that Mahat is actually moving closer to this crack in the wall, and carefully he raises a spear that he has with him.
One moment, Delphine, and I'll jump the connection to Captain Piranha. Salutations. We have spotted something. Oh, I see Mahat is already on it.
She just immediately stops in her tracks, and the moment that she hears the first word in her mind, she like raises one fist to indicate everyone to stop, and looks over her shoulder, sees Rain first, but then sees also Mahat approaching, and he then just jabs his spear spear into the crack, into whatever was there, and there's a moment of silence, and then he pulls back the spear. There's nothing on it. Mahat looks again into the crack, then sees that Captain Piranha is looking at him, straightens his posture. There was something in there. I think someone might be keeping an eye on us. Captain Piranha said, well, that is most likely. Enemy scouts.
Captain Piranha will hear in her head, oh, I might regret this. Yank me down, put on a bit of a show.
She looks at you, walks over to you, looks at you.
She's gonna like this, enjoy this.
And she just pulls you down to the ground.
Donk. Ow. And mentally, like, yes, well done. You're very good at that.
She responds, I know.
I will take a moment to just like squirm a bit on the ground, aware that if Delphine says she saw something, then their eyes are on us and it's bad for the party. Rain understands like more self-preservation. Like we need to ensure that we're not misconstrued too badly here.
Yeah.
I will help Rain up from the ground.
And Captain Piranha, then as you help Rain up, Captain Piranha says out loud to you, Delphine, make sure your companions stay in line. She like really tries her best to sound very demeaning towards you. And then she turns around, her wings folded behind her back, and goes back to the front of the group. And Rain, telepathically, she sends over to you. Was that convincing enough?
My bruises surely will tell that it was indeed. I can only maintain this sort of connection with one person at a time. If you need to have a conversation with me, I don't know, raise just your left wing or something.
I can just glare at you.
You wouldn't be the only one. I have that sort of impression on people.
Very well. I think then the wing is the better indicator. I shall lift my left wing if I need this connection again.
Not lovely.
Yes.
Sorry. While they're having this conversation, can Dythun like reach his hand in one of his like pouches on his side and like touch the sending stone?
I'm assuming you want to try to do this as unseen as possible.
Yeah, a little. It's concealed.
Well, also your hands are tied. Like,
well,
you have to see if you can reach.
Yeah. Give me a sleight of hand check, Dythun.
A whole +0. I love that.
Those
a
are
12.
That's not bad. 12 plus 0 is indeed 12.
Math.
Right.
Hardcore math right here. And where you put your hands down, especially now while this thing with Rain was going on, you're putting your hands down, trying to reach the pocket or satchel where you put the sending stone in. And after a bit of fumbling, just before the group starts moving again, you're able to reach it and hold it between one of your hands. Hold it in one of your hands.
Yeah, because he's aware enough, like, I just have to be touching it, right?
Right.
Like, I don't have to, like, pull it out and speak into it.
No.
Okay. Yeah, he's just going to try to, like, touch it so he can activate it.
Gotcha. And would you like to activate it now that you touch it? Okay. What would you like to say now that you activated the Sending Stone?
I assume you have eyes on us and are aware of the situation we're in. We'd like to keep it calm.
You get a response.
Sorry.
You get.
I don't ever get to use sending, so I had to. I'm sorry. Trying to count words in my head.
I love it.
How many do I have?
You were good. You were good.
You were good. You were
I
good.
honestly kind of love that Dythun just like, just kind of
Doesn't know.
rambles, and it's just,
Ye-
as
Exactly.
much as it,
You get a response back. The deep voice of Bravik. Got yourself caught. Fascinating. I'll see if we'll keep it calm. We'll see each other soon.
Has everyone started moving at this point?
Yes. The
And I will just turn around and look at Delphine and just keep a mental connection with her. Not necessarily saying anything, but I kind of look at her, nod my head, and just keep it up, since at least I have a visual cue from Piranha for a connection. But I have one with Delphine should she see something I need to alert. I'm playing telephone essentially.
Gotcha.
I think Dythun would try to activate it again. Like kind of aware people might be looking, but he's already got his hand like in the satchel, so he might as well, like, now is the time rather than moving and coming back again.
Absolutely.
And just send. It would be hard to share information if we were dead. And that's it.
And that is indeed it, because you don't receive a response from Bravik to that. Kind of like almost doing a magical final line before hanging up the telephone, and he's not calling you back on it. You wander on for a little bit more until after about another 45 minutes of wandering through these tunnels. Also, maybe you would notice that the harpies, all of them regularly, like, just check, especially like the ceiling and any kind of narrow crevices. And you have a feeling why they do that, considering your previous encounter with the oozes here. And they're actually with Rebus here with the lantern on. They are very glad with the additional light, because Mahat, friendly as he is and having a hard time pretending to be the tough prison guard, explains to you that the extra light makes it actually easier to identify the shimmering, oily surface of a ooze, and that he at least is very happy that they haven't encountered any oozes yet. But after about
Maybe
45
in the
minutes...
future you can carry some kind of light like this.
Oh, yeah, well, we usually come here in with light as well, but sometimes the torches go out, or you get cut off from the rest of your group because you went down the wrong way, and I'm talking too much again. I'm your prison guard. I'm not supposed to do this. And he just puts on this stern face again. Eventually, you come to an intersection of various tunnels. And as you approach, Captain Piranha raises her fist again to indicate everyone to stop. And at the same time, she lifts her left wing.
I break with Delphine and make a connection with the back of Piranha's head. I just need to see her.
Exactly.
Yes,
Connection is put
yes.
straight ahead. I think there's your old friends. She gestures a little bit forward with her head, and then with her mouth, she says to the other harpies, defensive line. We have incoming.
Our previous friends aren't very kind. There were 5 of them. One big guy in charge. Reykjavik, I believe their name was.
Big guy, you say? Yeah, I have eyes on him. And the tunnel here is a bit wider. You can stand like 3 people next to each other here. And if you would look like past Piranha ahead of you, you would see at the edges of the light from the Everlight lantern, you see the silhouettes of this large gnoll figure. And you just see movement there at the edges of the light. And if you look closely, you see that the gnoll is like just throwing up a dagger and catching it again. Throwing up a dagger, catching it again. Throwing it up, catching it with the other hand. And then slowly steps out into the light. So he's clearly visible. And you see again Bravik with his dyed mane up here and his devilish look in his face.
The group will hear from the back from Delphine. Oh, look! The clown is up again. He is playing tricks.
And to which Piranha shouts towards you, silence, prisoner! And you hear the gnoll say, good to know that she's always a little bit opinionated, isn't she? You're out here hunting us, Harpy? To which Piranha responds, I think we got some of your agents caught in our valley. They are our prisoners. Great attempt to involve outsiders in this. Such a shame that your attack on the valley did not work out as you had planned, now did it? I have to give it to you in the Harpies. From what I heard from the stragglers, put up quite the defense. Killed a few of our men. Word is that you even took down an ogre we brought with us. He was a great guy, you know. Very brave, strong.
I mentally say to Piranha, that was our group. Dythun mentioned that there was at least one witness that got back.
And as you say that telepathically, you hear Bravik say, the one who saw the ogre go down claimed that he got killed by someone who wasn't really looking like a harpy.
And then telepathically, like, they started it. They attacked us.
Piranha says, people get things mixed up in the heat of combat. These infiltrators were captured by us and put into our prison. We are now escorting them back and banishing them from the valley. And if you were wise, Null, you would do the same. Leave. This is not a place for Droem. This is our home. You try to attack it, you see what happened. We have been gracious in leaving you here in these tunnels, skittering around like the oozes in here. But we can also talk in a different tone if we have to. As Bravik stands in the light, you now see, like, moving behind him in the darkness, there's a few other silhouettes. Smaller silhouettes, taller silhouettes. Probably some of the goblins and bugbears that were still with him. Bravik says, "So, what am I supposed to do with these prisoners? If they are truly part of my operation, would you just give them back to me with all the information they have?" To which Piranha says, "They know as much as you know. They know the way through the tunnels into our valley, but they also know that those who trespass will have our arrows in them. I want you and these," she looks over her shoulder at you, puts on her best, like, looking at you with, like, disdain at you, and then looks back at Bravik. "You take this filth back with you to Droam or wherever you pick them up, and you tell everyone there that the valley belongs to the haunting song."
Telepathically. What? I don't want to go to Rome. What are you doing?
You see, like, there's this brief twitch on the face of Piranha as she regains her posture. Bravik steps closer, and he's now, like, right up in Piranha's face, and he can look over her to all of you, and you have clear sight on him at this point. Is there anything any of you would like to do in the meantime?
Oh lordy, so how many are with him?
From what you can tell, like, out in the beyond the light of the lantern, you see, like, 4 silhouettes, 2 small ones, 2 medium-sized ones.
I had a question.
Mm-hmm.
Can I see who's carrying my longsword?
Sure, yeah.
Dythun's gonna make a big show of rushing at that person, or that harpy, pushing them over, grabbing the longsword, like hands tied, and, like, stepping back behind, like kind of trying to flip sides and step behind him.
Give me an athletics check.
Those. Okay, yeah, that's a 22. He's not making, like, attacks at anybody. He's just getting the sword and being like, "This is where we stand.
Yeah.
Let us go," kind of thing.
You, out of nowhere, Dythun, you just rush into the harpy that's carrying your sword. The harpy is just overwhelmed with the sudden rush of a Leonin at them, and you take the sword, and yeah, you can still hold your sword without dropping your knots and your ropes, and you hold onto the sword, swivel around, hold out the sword, and as that happens, the other harpies drop whatever they have in their hand, pull out their spears and swords to already, like, get battle ready. You see that Piranha takes a few steps away so she can keep both an eye on Bravik and on what's happening in the party. And also, beyond Bravik, you hear the sound of weapons being unsheathed at this point. All this rattling of steel coming out of sheath, and everyone just getting ready for a Droam standoff.
Dythun's just gonna say, "Nobody has to get hurt here. You did what you said you would do, now let us go." And he says that directed to Piranha. Kind of trying to make his way closer to Bravik if he can.
Piranha looks at you, and you're not sure if... Give me an insight check, Dythun.
Rain is saying in Piranha's head, like, he's laying it on rather thick.
14.
14. There's a hint of confusion in her expression at this point. She's not really sure where you're going with this. But she also has her spear at the ready. But she also now has on one flank she has Bravik, and on the other she has you. And Bravik is just chuckling to himself. Well, aren't you good at taking care of your prisoners? They're just able to get their weapons back and everything. Looks like tables have turned for you, Harpy.
Piranha hears, he's probably up to something. Maybe this is an opportunity for us. Maybe he's getting behind them so we can flank them. I'm on your side, Captain. I don't want to go to Jerome.
The captain quickly sends you telepathically. Are you sure that the Leonin is on our side?
And I'm giving like a fast bumping Rain a little bit. Hopefully unnoticed. I mean, this is like a standoff that we're having right now, but half of us doesn't has
Yeah.
weapons.
I will quickly say to Piranha's like, well, it would be very unwise of him to get on my bad side. One moment, Captain. And I just quickly shift my eyeballs over to Delphine and mental connection. What is he doing?
I have no clue. Shall I cause a little bit of ruckus so that they are getting their heads turned? I don't like to stand in this.
He has
I'm
the
just standing there
sapphire.
at the back,
Hmm?
We can't go to Jerome.
and like my faceplate is like glitching again because I'm just very uncomfortable with the
Yeah.
situation. This was not the plan. Dythun still gives me suspicious vibes. I'm very nervous. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you.
Then I will respond to all Rain. I can cover our vision a little bit.
Delphine, I wish to get out of this infernal place with the sapphire and make our way back to Sharn and not go to Jerome in between. We are aligned in this, yes?
Yes.
Perfect.
But I also don't want to stand here and let them point their weapons at us while we, oh well, except for you, don't have much to defend ourselves.
Don't worry about me. I will keep connection with the captain, and I am assured that your actions are in line with mine.
Okay.
With my hands still tied, it's like open, and now what's happening?
Dythun, what are you doing in the meantime? There's a total of 4 harpies who have their weapons pointed at you. Well, the captain has her weapon pointed at you. What are you going to do?
I think Dythun is just gonna stand his ground and try to like make eye contact with Captain Piranha, and just like if he can get to a position where maybe Bravik isn't like staring at Dythun, just kind of like try to give her like a nod, like he's holding his sword, but he's not like going for anybody. He's just like, you know, his intention is to try and make a show of this.
Mm-hmm.
Of like, I don't want to be here, let me go.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha.
But just like, yeah, like come on, like go with it.
Okay.
But also there's that like stern expression of like, you know, if you need to make it look good. However he can convey that.
while he's keeping his stern face, he's also giving like this knowing nod, like, come on, roll with it. And see the captain, especially now going back and forth like telepathic communication, while also paying attention to what's happening here. I can't even imagine what's going on in the mind then. You see the captain just launch towards you, Dythun, coming at you with the spear, launching it at you. That's a 20 hit.
I would assume.
Is that a natural 20?
Oh, you have the shield.
No, that is a dirty 20.
How is he holding a
Well,
shield with his hands bound?
Well, that would hit unless I happened to have a magical shield in front of me all of a sudden.
But you do not have that. That's that does hit then.
Well, can I use my reaction?
You can. What kind of reaction
Okay,
would you like
yeah.
to use?
Use shield.
You use a reaction to cast shield, actually, and you do see like the spear should have impacted Dythun. It should have hit. He brought his sword into the wrong direction because Piranha did some kind of feinting move that would bring the spear from a different angle. But where it should hit, you suddenly see this shimmering barrier of magical energy shine and keep the spear at bay.
It's just a grin. Come on now.
I'm sorry, what?
Let's keep things civil. Just smiling.
Captain looks at you, surprised by this turn of events. And she just brings down the blunt end of the spear, not in a motion to hit you, but like she like consciously makes an effort to hit your weapon as well. So you have like a clash of weapons at that point, that your sword hits the spear like a ding, that you're really battling here. And the other harpies take it as a sign to at least keep their weapons directed at the other party members, just keeping a look around. And Mahat is also pointing his spear at Rain and is making, however, you also see now that Bravik is taking a few steps back. He's leaning against the wall and he's just crossing his arms and enjoying the show.
Perfect. Yeah, no, Dythun will kind of feint some attacks. Maybe a couple of them try to actually go through. We'll see.
Make a few. You know what? Let's make a few quick rolls here.
Okay.
I don't think a 13 does not hit you.
No, I'm assuming I'm rolling at disadvantage, kind of being restrained.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. No, that one doesn't work.
All right,
let's make plus whatever.
Let's make another attack. Oh, that's actually a natural 20. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, that one will hit.
All right.
Convincing.
Very convincingly, you take 7 points of piercing damage.
Ouchie.
What is happening? People.
Who knows?
What is going on?
Let's make one final set of attacks. You wanna attack Piranha?
Yeah, 16. Does that hit?
That hits, yeah.
Okay.
He needs to come with us and not go with them. Telepathically.
Yeah. But where's my... There it is. D8. I always forget for some reason. Where's the 8? There it is. I know how to D&D. I lost that dice. We use another one. That's a 5.
All right, that does not hit a 5.
No, sorry, damage.
The damage, 5 damage. Yeah, that's 5 damage. All right. Piranha is going to make one last attack against you, but that doesn't hit. You want to make one final attack against her?
The last one he'll like intentionally faint.
All right.
Drag his hide to us.
You see, the rest of you see that Dythun is duking it out with the captain here. while Bravik is just looking at what's happening. Is there anything anyone else would like to do while this confusing turn of events is happening?
Give me a sec.
I'm looking at Delphine to see if there's any moves. Like
She will definitely make a move with her hand to reach the leftover dagger that she has.
The final dagger that she kept hidden. Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Because actually, at this moment, having like Piranha and Dythun fight, and having that Null totally fixed on that fight, is such a good opportunity.
You want to take the shot with your dagger?
Oh god, Rain will be
To
so
who?
furious.
Who
Oh
are you-
no,
Wait,
love
who are
it.
you stabbing?
No, I will make like I try to do a sneaky, and as in a sneaky way, I try to throw that dagger into that knoll.
Bravik.
Into the knoll.
Bravik. Yeah.
Bravik.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right.
Wasn't there a magic shield? Like,
No, magic shield was
Dythun.
Dythun.
And it's only for one round. We're way past round.
nobody else.
Oh yeah.
I don't know.
Okay.
Just want to point out, Dythun had a magic shield. Keep that in mind. The
No, yeah.
So, Delphine, you want to sneakily throw your dagger at the knoll?
Yes, please.
The knoll is distracted. There's other things that distract him. Make a ranged attack roll with advantage.
Let's go.
Come on, dice.
Straight in the
Nice.
throat.
23 to hit.
That certainly hits. Roll for damage.
Thank God for the advantage. This is not high. Oh, this is actually okay. 8 points of damage.
8 points of damage. You see, as you see Bravik fixated on the fight, you stealthily draw out your final dagger, and with your hand still tied, you navigate it between your hands, throw it as stealthy as you can, and it shreds past the shoulder of the knoll, like really carving through the clothing and into the skin, and you just hear this roar coming from him. Rain, is there anything you would like to do?
Have I seen this dagger fly out of from Delphine towards Breivik?
Sure.
With my hand still bound, I'm going to use a sorcery point to cast subtle spell. So no somatic components, no verbal, no nada. And I would like to ice knife at Breivik. Double dagger.
All the knives.
I'm just like, and a dagger.
Everyone against the knoll.
So I'm gonna. That's a ranged attack spell. Spell attack. Come on, roll good. Come on, roll good. Come on, roll good. Yes. It's a 19 plus many things.
That hits.
Okay. And he's going to take 1d10 piercing. You're a d10. You're a d10. I don't roll you often enough. Ooh. 8 piercing damage. Can every creature within Breivik and every creature within 5 feet of Breivik make a dexterity saving throw, please?
Within 5 feet, there is no other creature, but there's still Breivik, so he's going to make a dexterity saving throw.
Okay.
I don't think that a 6 makes it.
Does not. My DC is 13. And as I just kind of look over, a shard of ice materials and goes flying at him. Upon impact, is going to explode and do another 8 cold damage.
Ooh.
And anything within 5 feet of him as well.
Ouchie.
Adding to the chaos here, with the captain and the Leonin fighting with each other, there is now Bravik who felt the sting of a steel dagger going across his shoulder, hitting the rock behind him. He growls, but before he can do anything, an ice dagger soars through the air, crashes into him, splinters apart, and the cold shards dig into his skin, and he just goes down on his knees.
Now, Captain, now! Telepathically.
Let's go.
And the captain, like, who still had like weapons locked with Dythun, looks over her shoulder, and then just swings around the spear.
Is he prone?
Oh, prone, right? He's prone, yeah. I rolled first a 2, then I rolled a 3. So she
Oh my
brings
God.
the weapon around,
For
but
real.
while he's still on the ground, Bravik unclasps a scimitar from his belt and brings it up to parry the attack. Dythun, is there anything you wanted to do?
Is it obvious to Dythun who sent the other 2 attacks?
You would know. You don't know who was the dagger exactly, but if there was flying magical ice, in the air, you have your theories who that might have been.
Rain is just still kind of standing with her arms out, going like. You didn't hear Rain say anything. She was silent the whole time.
Quick glance. Do I see how many silhouettes are still kind of sitting behind where he was?
There's still like 4 silhouettes, and you see that while Bravik is blocking the attack, he already has his face towards the direction of the silhouettes, probably to instruct them to attack.
All right. Dythun's gonna like step to the side and try and like swing up with his sword to like break their 2 weapons apart, like the scimitar and the spear.
Yeah.
And then like stand between them and just say, "All right, can we all calm down?"
I don't think so. The knoll is like bleeding out. I don't know if you
No,
realize.
like Dythun is trying to prevent a full-on like skirmish here. He's like, 1 or 2 people fighting is one thing, but as soon as everyone gets involved, this is gonna get bad.
Now you want to stop it after like fucking.
You move
Trying to put
forward.
on a show.
It's your fault.
Yes,
No,
true.
yeah, totally.
I'm
Me
You
as a
move
player
forward.
Totally get this.
I'm going for the skirmish.
You move forward and bring yourself with your longsword, do this uppercut in between the weapons. And as you get in between Bravik and Piranha, and you're about to say, like, okay, can we all calm down? Bravik has already turned his face towards his allies. He goes like, charge! As he just commands them to attack and come in. Is there anything else you would like to do as you now see there's these 4 silhouettes who's starting to move?
Oh, I have something.
I have something as well.
You first.
Phew. Wait a sec. So Piranha, Dythun, Ragi, these 4 people. That's a lot. I think I would like to cast Gust of Wind to push them back. Sadly, like Piranha and Dythun are the way as well, but
All right. Gust of Wind, that has them. Each creature starts to succeed on a strength saving throw.
Strength save, yes.
All right, so you just reach up your hand. All right, let's start with Piranha. That's a total of 15.
That makes it.
That makes it. Dythun, can you also give me a strength saving throw?
My DC is not high.
I bet it's higher than a 9.
It's higher than a 9, I assume, yeah?
Yes.
Bravik rolled a natural
Let's see how
1.
it is.
So
Oh yeah, he's definitely pushed.
you see Bravik like pushed away. But there's also a few of his companions who are just quickly gonna. That was bad.
Wait, could you repeat how many there are?
There's 4 others now approaching out of the darkness. 4
Okay.
others. And of those 4, 3 of them keep moving forward, but they're like leaning against the gust that's being blasted. But one of them is just blown off its feet and just pushed back. And Bravik is also like is pushed is
They're
pushed
sliding back.
pushed over the ground as they're moving a bit back, but Bravik just get them. And that's where we're going to end today's session.
No!
And pick up next session to see how you get out of this pickle. Well,
Yay.
Dythun has some splaining to do.
yeah.
Yes, yes. Oh, and
Um,
for the rest of you, just for planning for next week, since they are all coughed in the wind, they need the double amount of the movement to move against it. So you have a bit of time to get yourself
Nice.
adjusted.
Yeah, it's
Exactly.
concentration for 1 minute, I believe.
Yes.
Yeah. All right.
Austin, what the hell?
Yeah, what the fuck? What's wrong with
What
you?
was the plan here?
Kind of this.
I assume there might
actually.
be some underlying shit going on, but like,
I want to find out next week. That's totally worth coming back for next week, right? Right, everyone in chat?
I hope so.
kind
How do we find out?
I do hope so. This is certainly not how I expected this would go, but that makes it all the more fun. And I think by now, I mean, this is already the 13th session. I should be used to the chaotic powers of this group and how they approach things.
I was thinking, hey, this is going great. This is going, like we might get more or less found out depending of like if they believe that we're prisoners or not. But like it's going okay. We're gonna make it out of the tunnels.
Is this
I
better or worse than
thought
my
too soon.
intention of just like making sure that there's no drawn witnesses?
Well,
I was
my
going.
plan in the first place was just to cover everyone's vision with a nice fog, getting the harpies like retreating, maybe causing a little bit of ruckus, and then getting out of there.
Yeah, but we need the cat with the shiny now.
The cap. Yep. Do not forget, indeed, Dythun is the one with the sapphire in his backpack.
Yep.
So,
That's like
this is interesting.
Why are you so shady, man? Like
It's fun. Why not?
it's such a taking advantage of Rebus. Like my character just does not think badly of anybody.
True.
So of course, like they suspected about you, and now they're like, and it's probably fine. But it's not.
That's what makes it
who knows?
interesting.
I think once the party gets back gets back to a pub, they need to get a few rounds of drinks and talk about a few things.
We got to get there first.
I have to go to therapy.
Exactly.
Group therapy.
Yeah.
Therapy.
Yeah,
Alright.
adventure
Like
and
this
party
path,
therapy.
like this part therapy where you just need there and talk about your problems and what you expect of each other.
But I think Dythun is not the only one in this group that has a few hidden secrets that are worth discussing. But I think that's one of the things that makes this group interesting. They all have a little bit of their own baggage with them. However, we're going to find out next week how this baggage will be overcome. Before we wind down here for today and head out, have a few drinks ourselves or something, is there any kind of announcements any one of you have for the coming week? Anything interesting coming up? Any plans? Anything new?
I don't think so.
Just chillaxing.
Just chillaxing. that is also important. Rest and respite are an important part. And with these turns of events, we got enough excitement to live on for the rest of the week. So we'll be wrapping up here. We'll be back next week, same place, same time, and then we're going to find out how all of this continues. For everyone who decided to drop by today and said hi in chat, thank you very much. For everyone who dropped by and didn't say hi in chat, that's also fine. If you just like to lurk and come around. And thank you very much. Also, thanks to these fantastic players who make this chaos possible. And if you want to,
The DM.
you're welcome. I live for these
Yeah,
kind of
thanks,
things.
DM.
And if you want to follow us, our socials are down below. Join us there, and we'll see you back next week. Take care, stay awesome, and see you Tuesday. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.